Darkness fell across the night sky, slowly revealing diamond stars. The high full moon lit up the ocean, casting heavenly bodied shadows upon the waves. The sand glistened like crystal topaz, shimmering against aqua terrain. A picturesque view for the avid lover of nature, appearing to have been ripped from the paintings of artist Thomas Kincaid. Calm, peace, serenity, and beauty. Those were the luxuries Celeste sought after within the night. A dream inside the real, like the contents of a snow globe or those panoramic eggs they sell at Easter time. She closed her eyes, lowered her head back, and allowed the gentle breeze to kiss all the realms of her body, quieting the mind, feeding the soul. After making his usual sleuth appearance at the post-game campus hotspots, Johnny decided to take a reprise from the excitement and venture into a sanctum of serenity. He walked along the coastline of the ocean, expanding upon his life's journey and the path he should take. Often in these periods of silence, he pondered how quickly times and events can pass, how quickly one is faced with dilemmas unknown, how quickly you must respond with correct decisions, and how quickly everything can come to a screeching halt if you are not mindful. All the questions, all the situations, all the decisions led Johnny to the major question, the one everyone asks at some point in their life: why am I here? As Johnny continued walking and pondering, he felt the need to open himself up to the universe and accept what it had to offer. His clothes burned against his still muscular frame, screaming for the exhalation of a deep release. Slowly, he unbuttoned the black dress shirt he was wearing down to his navel, promptly exposing the features of a finely chiseled chest. When Johnny looked up, there in the midst of his view, an angelic being appeared amongst the shadows of the moon. There she was, a small framed creature with glistening jet black hair loosely swept up in a French twist. This magnanimous beauty, none other than Celeste, had begun removing her tight-fitting apparel. Am I dreaming, he thought? Is this a mirage? Obviously unaware of watchful sources, Celeste seductively pulled a baby fat t-shirt over her head, gently exposing all of Victoria's secrets. Johnny was mesmerized as he studied her features from behind. Every bone in her vertebrae taunted him as her shirt gracefully rose across her body. His mouth watered as she unclasped her bra to reveal a slight outline which formed her perfectly sculpted breasts. His body shook as Celeste removed a large silver hair clip, allowing her tendrils to seductively fall down her bare back, resting in roving curvatures. Johnny could feel the heat of his manhood rise up from between his thighs and press hard against his Sean John jeans. He wanted nothing more than to grab this mistress by the waist, squeezing her breast to a titillating sensation, and straddle her on the beach into an intense, passionate, love-making session. Johnny knew he better say something fast before he acted upon his animalistic instincts. He composed his natural emotions as to not be embarrassed and walked with extreme stealth towards Celeste. Great night for a swim, eh? Celeste turned around, startled at the smooth, rich male tone, and covered her breast with her hand, screaming, "What are you doing here, you pervert?" She tripped over a bag, falling flat into the sand. Johnny chuckled lovely to himself and extended a hand to help this fine specimen up from the ground. "Hey, last time I checked, this was a public domain. Besides, you're the one out here taking your clothes off for all to see." Celeste took Johnny's hand and rose up, gazing into his hypnotic grayish hazel eyes. She broke herself from the spell in embarrassment and bent down to gather her belongings. "I know that," she snickered. "I just meant, why are you here on the beach this late in the evening?" As Celeste stood upright, covered in sand, and her items in disarray, Johnny encircled her, examining every aspect of her partially covered body. She had a taut frame of smooth silkiness, which contained the right mixture of coffee and milk that radiated her creamy skin tone, hot chocolate at its finest. The balance of her curves reshaped the hourglass. Her swan-like neck led to a luscious mouth and mesmerizing sable eyes. Johnny longed to grab Celeste and mate his tongue with her succulent lips, ravenously tasting life's pleasures. He desired to run his fingers through her luxurious hair and cover her neck with light, feathery kisses. He was determined to conquer this woman and entrap her into his bed for many days. Johnny finished his rounds, making Celeste uncomfortably aroused. He stopped directly behind her and whispered in her ear, "I was just enjoying the view." He paused for a dramatic effect, observing Celeste slightly smile before he continued, "Of the sea." You were just introduced Thank you. Once again, my name is Angela James, but I write under the pseudonym of reneeangelah. This is my debut novel, In a Dream. Oh, and I hear bells ringing. That's a good sign. This is my debut novel, In a Dream, and I actually wrote this book about 5 years ago, and I shelved it for a long period of time until just last year when I decided to pick it up after having gone through many, many trials and tribulations in the last year. And actually it was in a few months period of time. And this was my saving grace, was this book, because it has survived through a lot of chaos and drama, just like I did last year. So this is my book. I published it in December of last year. I am proud to say that the first week in January, the first 2 weeks in January, it had ranked #1 on the lulu.com self-publishing website. And since then, it has opened many doors to many different avenues for me. So this book has actually brought me to places that I never thought I would be at. I wouldn't think I'd be here, sitting here, having a book signing and talking about a book. I wouldn't think I would have been here with a book in my hand. People who've known me for a very long time know that my first love is, and always will be fashion. And so book writing was not on that top of the list of loves when we talk about careers. So this book has brought me to many different facets and brought some things out of me that I didn't know I had inside of me. And I thought that I could only creatively express them through fashion design or fashion. But I was able to create beauty through a book. And that's the tone of this book. Even though it is a romance novel, and yes, it does have romantic scenes and love-making scenes, I do not dwell on that. I dwell on the relationship aspects. So in this book, you will see the relationship aspect between Johnny and Celeste, who are two of the main characters. And you will see other relationships as they evolve too. So you will meet other characters. You will meet Celeste's best friend that everybody likes, Tracy. And also Johnny's best friend, his name is Ty. And you also meet a couple other things. Celeste is actually a single mother. So being a single mother, you have to deal with, guess what? The baby daddy. So at some point, yes, you will hear about the baby daddy. And at some point, because Celeste and Johnny are in a relationship, you will have to deal with some parents. And the parents you have to deal with is Mrs. Walker, which I will introduce you to, Mrs. Walker, and Tracy at the same time. So you will get an experience of both Mrs. Walker and Tracy. Mrs. Walker giggled. "Oh, come on now. What could you have possibly planned, darling?" She slightly cocked her head in a disbelieving air, as she knew Tracy's plans for Celeste could never top hers. "I got plans to take her to a spa, and the reservations cannot be canceled." "Oh, that. I know about that, dear. Johnny already told me about your little deal. And I made arrangements for that appointment to be canceled for you without penalty. Besides, I arranged for Philippe to do the makeover, and he does not just see anyone." That's Mrs. Walker. Tracy gasped as she turned to face the wall. She put her left hand on her hip and the right up to her forehead, shaking. "That bitch!" she thought. No, she didn't. No, she did not. Oh, but yes, she did. Yeah, she just go up and cancel my shit like she knew me. And what she mean? He just don't take anyone. Her little snooty ass just mad because I made my reservation first. So what this Philippe know her? She just using her money. Oh, bougie heifer. Tracy took a deep breath. No, take it down. She exhaled, this is Celeste, but she got one more time. She turned around, biting her bottom lip, looking at Celeste to give her the sign that something is about to jump off in this piece. Celeste knew the look of going off, so she interjected quickly before fire and brimstone destroyed her room. Celeste cleared her throat and smacked her lips in a sigh of release. Ma'am, I think I can manage all right. I will be down soon. Mrs. Walker closed the bureau door and turned slowly around. Very well. She strolled to the door. Upon opening, she stopped and turned towards Tracy. Are you coming, darling? Tracy put an arm around Celeste and whispered in her ear, we can still ditch the old bat, or I can push her down the stairs, make her break a hip, because you know I fight mother-in-laws. For real. Celeste turned towards Tracy, holding back her guffaw by silently giggling. Mrs. Walker raised her eyebrow in dismay. She did not particularly care for Tracy. After all, she was a low-class citizen, but she realized she had to tolerate the albatross momentarily, at least until after the wedding. Then Mrs. Walker would keep Celeste so busy socially, she would have no time for her friend. That's Tracy and Celeste. And most people Tracy and Miss Walker. And of course, most people like Tracy because she is the person that gets away with saying whatever is on her mind. So she's the Medea and Tyler Perry movies where she can is so over the top and she can do so many things. And I actually call her Celeste's alter ego because when I wrote the character Tracy, since I based Celeste off of more so myself, Tracy is the one that I wanted to say. And I have a friend like that just but she's not that over the top, but she will tell you about yourself every now and then. I have a couple friends like that if you push them to the limit, they will lay you out. And so they know who they are because they've laid out a couple people on my behalf and a couple people on their own behalf. So, but those are the people that I really love Tracy because she does say what she feels. But she also is a ride-or-die kind of chick, and she just will be down for whoever is there in her corner. So that's Tracy. Now the other character, of course, is Ty Pennedy.